Hi, welcome to video 17, and we're in section 4 now and we're looking at challenges. In the last video, number 16, I actually asked you about the biggest challenge you had with yourself. And I know that's quite hard. You've done that now, so now it's going to get a bit easier. I'm going to ask you now, what is the biggest challenge you have with your team? So what is the biggest challenge with your team? And the reason I'm asking you this is because for you to be the very best version of you and to have success in whatever way, shape or form, you can't do it by yourself. You don't need to do it by yourself. You can have a team around you. It might be a virtual team or a physical team, but you need people. You can't do it all by yourself, and you don't need to. So the biggest challenge with your team. Now, when I asked one guy this question, we looked at it, we thought about it, and the biggest challenge he had with his team was he had a real gap, and he needed a new ops director. He knew that the business really, if it was going to fly, he'd need to have an operations director. So we went about addressing that challenge. Another client, when we looked at it in detail, the biggest challenge they had with their team was, I asked them to score the effectiveness of their team out of 1 to 10. And they had too many people who were kind of 6 and below out of 10. Well, you're not going to get to where you need to be with 6 out of 10 people. You need 8, 9 and 10 out of 10 people. Because it could be a case of willing and able. They could be willing to do it, as in they're motivated, but they're not able. That's a training need. Or it could be that they're able to do it and they're being trained, but they're not willing, which is a motivation challenge. But if they're not willing or able, then you've got a real problem. So you've got to think about this biggest challenge with your team. Is it you have a gap in your team? Or is it that the team are not as effective as they could be? What might it be? Is the team too big, too small, too expensive? What is it? But what we've got to look at is we need to address these challenges because, as I've already said, I want you to release the handbrake and start to really fly towards becoming the best version of you. If we identify the biggest challenge with you, the next one is your team. Once you've identified that team challenge, the biggest challenge with your team, the second part, as before, is the prevention bit. What is the team challenge preventing you from achieving? If you had a high-performance team, what result would you see? If you had that new ops director, what impact would that have? If you upskilled your team and trained them and they became more effective, what would happen? So you've got to get a good feeling of what is that preventing you from achieving. And then again, number 3 is the benefit. You know, what difference would it make to your life and your business if you address this team challenge? And again, as before, it's really important to get a connection here. What result would you see, hear or feel that would let you know that you've actually got this team challenge addressed? Because we've got to make progress in this area. If you don't, we're going to be forcing things. Let's just release, let's relax a bit, address this stuff and get towards this benefit. So the action from this video is to use your workbook to identify the biggest challenge with your team, work out what that challenge is preventing you from achieving, and then finally, if you achieve that, what benefit would it be to you and your business if you address that biggest team challenge? That's the action from this video.